What? I don't know what you did
He said.
It's Wednesday, my dudes. Welcome to episode 9 of Perspective Check.
Wow.
So we didn't stream last week. Twitch was having problems. We recorded it, and luckily I have not uploaded it to YouTube yet.
Classic.
Yeah, classic me, not doing any work. Yeah, this is our game of D&D. We've been playing for a little bit over a year.
It's a lot over a year now. It's approaching, year and a half.
Year and a half now, yeah.
Some of us have been playing for like 6 years or something. Not this campaign. It was either the beginning of end of April of what would have been 2015. That's when you started?
I believe so, because it was last year, 26. I don't know. Math's hard.
Yeah, that's what.
No, in 2016.
Yeah.
No,
because my year is almost coming up.
Hey, Tim.
Hey,
too late. We're already rolling.
We're rolling.
Yep. Roll for this winter, I believe will be.
I missed my opportunity. Wait, where's Rusty?
We're actually just listening.
No all there tonight.
On repeat. We're missing some on repeat.
Albert will be missing because of work. He'll be missing somewhat frequently in the next couple months. But our very own Stubby Stubler will be his Jaeger.
Yeah.
Stevie Stubler.
In the meantime, though, anything else you guys can think of?
My mage is doing pretty well in Argus.
There you go. Yeah. So is my Demon Hunter.
Things are going well.
Almost done with all 3 zones.
Oh, this is the announcement.
Yeah, new patches. Yeah, this is.
Me and Troy will be at Colossal Con East this weekend.
Say hi to
So come say hi. We won't have a booth. I don't know what room number we are yet, but
you should definitely.
If you see
that room number.
If you see the dude, walk up to him and say, "It's Wednesday, my dude."
Yeah, my dude.
And he'll know.
It is Wednesday, L Dude Arena.
I'm pretty excited to cosplay.
If you're not into the whole
Salt Bay.
Oh yeah, the Salt Bay.
Yep.
Nice.
What?
I'm cosplaying as Salt Bay. The fucking salt dude. It's the easiest cosplay ever. White shirt, glasses, and carry around a fucking container of salt.
The dude
Say you're not cosplaying.
wearing sunglasses is like we're group cosplay.
Oh, that's a cosplay.
Say you're not cosplaying.
Anything else?
Alright, anyways, let's fucking play.
So,
What's your language? We're streaming.
guys, on the last exciting episode of Dungeons and Dragon Ball Z, the group of adventurers, Nocturnum, after after one of their companions, Korak, being escorted out of the city after a meeting with the Empress, the group decided that the whole situation, the whole feel of the city in Kelisaeri right now, branding, sponsored.
He'll get you drunk.
What was I even saying? Oh, the whole social climate right now in the city is not really what the group is feeling right now. With Korak not even really being allowed to be in the city as a half-orc. Those are all the druid cards if you want to find your card.
I already found the one I need. Like,
Done.
Deciding to finish up a few things around the city for a day or two, a couple days, and then figure out where to go from there. With a bit of shopping, with picking up some reagents for spells, for continuing the process of tattoos or getting a new tattoo altogether. In the process of shopping, Fenrir and Lily were approached by a distressed young kid who invited them to a tavern to celebrate his brother's release from the infirmary during the war, in which our heroes were champions, became champions of the city. It became obvious in him asking this, though, that he was very distressed, and there was a threat that the Order of Discord was threatening the group, more or less, that if they did not come, all in attendance, that the boy and his brother would be killed. So the group went to the tavern that night, mingled around, just tried to get a feel for the whole, get a feel for the bar, until a plate was brought out and set on one of the tables. As soon as it was set, the whole tavern emptied out, except for a group of about 24 armed men. And out walked, no longer disheveled, but more clean-cut, the young man who approached the group before. Revealed himself to be Lasher, the head of the Order here in Kelisaeri, and offered the group a business proposition that they had cost him a large sum of gold when they stopped an assassin from killing the Empress. As payment for their slight against him, they were to go and solve a problem at a gold mine some ways across the continent that something was stopping the miners from working. Something was threatening them. And it was now the group's task to go and do that. As part of insurance, to ensure they do it, he threatened Sindal's father, a prominent political figure in the city, threatened him that should they not undergo and complete the task at hand, his life is in danger. Unsure what to do with the proposition, the group accepted, left the tavern. Zoran sent a few message spells to the Empress's lead advisor, and the group rested for the night. In the course of the night, Sindal snuck out of the house back to the tavern, where he saw somebody that looked like a thug sleeping in one of the rooms. And with invisibility, took the time and casted Gaius on him to kill Lasher and take his place. Sneaking back to the tavern, or sneaking back to his house, up to his room. I believe that's where we left off.
Yeah, I think so.
So, you all awake the next morning. The smell of breakfast being cooked downstairs filling into your noses, because you just kind of fume throughout the house.
Dying warm.
You alright?
Yeah. Well, I think of the numbers when someone dies on stream, like literally dies on stream.
I don't know if I want to make that sacrifice personally.
Only on the YouTube channel, though. John and I are Nodath, right?
Yes, you two are out in Nolbath. You two are waking up out there. It was a cold night. The shelter out, there are blankets and some remnants of shelter out there, but you both kind of get the feel out in Noldath, where the half-orcs were being forced to live. You both get the idea that anyone that spends the winter out here, it's not probably going to end pleasantly. There's not enough shelter, enough food being provided to them. There is a level of despair that you're kind of picking up amongst the people, that they're just not sure what they're going to do. 6 months of winter is too long. What are you two doing?
What are we doing?
Yep.
What were we doing? We went out just so I had somewhere to sleep safely. Do we not want to meet back up with them in the morning?
Alright,
Did I agree on a place to meet with?
No.
I don't think we did. We do know where they were sleeping though.
Yeah, because they were sleeping at my place that were rented.
Yes. So we could get up bright and early and go there.
It might be better.
To not go there.
Yeah, for you to just stay out in the city for now.
Before words were leaving today, I have a little bit of business I need to finish up. But, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and can I have my laptop had disguise back?
Yes, of course. Hand it back to them.
Alright, is it like super early or is it later?
It's early. It's kind of with the cold temperatures and everything else. It's hard to really sleep in out here. You're up at pretty much sunrise. So,
The mine is east and then north.
west of the north.
West and no doubt.
It is.
East.
So the mine is all the way across the continent at Nark. It's about a month and a half's travel from here.
That's right.
You and your group, you're just outside the outer wall of the city right now.
I'm
The two
gonna
of you.
use a sending to Nessie again and just say, where do you want to meet? I can sneak to you with spells and an illusion to make sure I'm not seen.
It's best not to use such magics inside the city. I can meet you and your friends at your abode in the Arcane Gathering.
Alright. Let's look to Korak. I'm going to meet everybody else in the Arcane Gathering. And we'll get off things and come meet you out here. Does that sound good?
Yes, absolutely. Are there any other people still left, like any half-orcs left in Nordal?
There are some. I mean, there
Are
are
they
some.
still rebuilding, or are they just kind of like dressed and ready?
There are some half-orcs that are kind of tearing down some of the buildings that they were building because there's not as many people out here as there was before.
So they're just like
They're essentially trying to consolidate what few resources they have.
So yeah, I'm definitely
You'll help them.
Yes, son. Go ahead back, and I'll do what I can here.
Alright.
Let me know whenever you're coming back, and we'll meet up.
Not just kind of
So
looking
you-
for the arcane. Whatever.
So you head into the city. You pass through the gates, no problem. You go and meet with Cowley, the half-orc who is kind of in charge of what's left of Nolpath. He's glad to see you, grateful, and you can kind of get a sense that there is. He knows that things aren't well, but he's trying to keep on a front.
Enough appearances, yeah.
Yep. So you head in towards the city. Make your way through, no problem. The streets aren't very busy at this time of day. Pass through into the interior district. Find yourself at the Arcane Gathering. Walking in the front door about the time that everyone else is kind of stirring, waking up for the morning. And you walk in on them beginning to eat breakfast. And
How's it going, everybody? We may be having a visitor in a minute or two here. A few minutes.
you hear the door behind you in the house open up. You kind of walk in and you see a moment later, dressed in kind of like a heavy cloak with the hood thrown back now. You see her walk in with her silver and blonde hair kind of pulled back into a ponytail. You can see the blinded right eye as you can just see for most of everybody roll Insight checks, actually.
Not me, I presume.
Not you, no.
I wonder what's going on. Guys, I have to.
He's just standing there, like, working on something. All of a sudden he goes, "She is not as she appears. She is not as she appears."
18. 17.
15. 4.
Okay.
That's like a 13.
So you three, Lily, Fenrir, and Sandal, it's odd having spent time around Sandal. The Elven form never seems to lose grace. It's always, you never see lines of weariness or like creases in their skin. You can just see, it's very faint, but it's stark on her kind of pale skin. You can see just the slight sign of bags under her eyes, which is not, it's very strange to see it on elves in general. And she walks in, she kind of undoes the cloak and kind of hangs it up. Good morning, I'm sorry I couldn't be more help to you last night. There were things going on.
It's fine. I honestly didn't even tell the rest of them that I contacted you.
May I? And she kind of points to the food.
That's good for us.
Thank you. And she just kind of sits down, grabs a cup of coffee, and takes a sip and starts to eat a little bit. So your Zarnia told me that you had a run-in with the Order last night. Is that correct?
To say the least.
Yes.
Were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay.
I was gonna whisper to them.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm sorry that I couldn't provide more help. I was with the Empress and she was in a mood.
There is another point of concern from our last meeting with the Empress. She don't seem herself. Again, to say the least.
Danny's always had a hot head. You have to understand, she's from one of the few remaining noble houses from the Feywild, from Evergreen when it was still on its original plane. That nobility still runs through her, still elevates her, still drives her. And I don't know if she's feeling weak, if she feels exposed because of everything that's happened. But you are correct, she is not quite been herself.
I mean, I think it's not very hard to blame her. She's been through a lot, and we haven't exactly helped the situation.
No, not really, but the eye is in the process of being hidden and being locked away. So that should help to smooth things over now that that's been dealt with. And now that Lord Thunderheart has dropped charges against you, we have no fear from King Obrem from the west. So, give her a few days. I think that she'll calm down and come back around. At least to you and your companions. But, what happened with the Order last night?
Well, they pretty much told us that the They met us at what's the bar that we met them at called?
The Full Queen.
We met them at the Full Queen. We talked to their leader, Lasher. He told us that he would kill the owner of the Full Queen and her family, along with and he also told us that he had people watching Sindal's father, and that he would kill all of them if we did not go and complete a contract for him as a way of repaying him for the money lost when he did not successfully kill the Queen. We had to go to a mine somewhere north of Nark and deal with the problem there, and then contact his agents and let him know that, that it's done.
I believe that his main quarrel with us was the fact that we slew his brother, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. He honestly didn't seem like one that... He seemed like he cared more about the money and the business than he did about his brother.
Yeah, I agree.
You kind of see that she just kind of places her fingers on both sides of her nose and just lets out a deep breath, just taking a moment to just kind of think. Just takes a sip of her coffee. It would not be wise to tell the Empress that we've had an encounter with Lasher or his men. She's already on edge, searching through all the Dark Elf homes, forcing out all the half-orcs.
Right, it's just another thing for her to worry about then.
I'm afraid the city's already borderline under martial law as it stands. And if the Empress finds out that Lasher is making open threats against the council, I don't know what her next decision may be. She's been making them without the advice of her council.
That's why I figured it'd be best to contact you rather than her, just in case they didn't want to do anything drastic.
In regards to your father, I believe that he can be trusted to not tell the Empress about this, as well as I can ensure that he has guards posted with him, day and night to watch over the house. However, he was able to have men sneak into the Heart of Magic, which is supposed to be one of the most secure locations in the entire city. I'm afraid that if he really wants your father dead, he'll figure out a way. Your father can't spend all of his time locked away inside his house. He has other things to attend to inside the city, other matters. So I can have a guard watch over him to make sure that if there is a breach in this contract that you struck up, that he'll at least have some level of security, but I can have people look for Lasher as well, look into the Full Queen, but he has done a very good job of hiding inside the city for years now. I can have more guards and more soldiers looking into trying to find his hideout, trying to stamp out the Order's presence here in the city, but I can make no guarantees.
I don't even know how necessary it all is. I think that either way we have to go and do this for him. If we want to save lives and just hopefully get him to stop bothering people.
Perhaps there is something we can manage to salvage out of this, though. If you complete this task for Lasher, that may leave for an opportunity for you to meet with him again. And if you are to meet with him again, stage a trap. Perhaps find a way to get a hold of him. If we can get rid of Lasher, it will be a severe blow to the Order and their presence here in the city.
is true.
So, where is this gold mine that you're supposed to go to?
North of Nark.
Correct. Mine is north of the Daggers River, next to the Dragonwood.
The Dragonwood. If you have to travel to Nark, you'll almost certainly be stuck there for the winter. Well, if you're fine spending the winter in the city of Nark, we can provide you horses to hasten your travel. Perhaps you can catch up with the army that's marching there now, make your travels a bit safer. If you can catch up to the army, if you spend the winter there, perhaps when it's done, you can return to the city. Perhaps we'll be in a better state then.
Nice.
And then we can deal with Lasher.
I think that sounds fine. We have our cart as well still. We could probably...
Not needed.
What?
I have a bag of holding. I don't really need it.
We're attached to that cart. The cart is our horses, Brylan and Tor.
Brian and Tor, of course.
Literally just dead weight. But hey, you want to push it,
Bags of wood and ruin everything fun. Fine.
just sell it for 5 silver.
Listen, that cart's been through some shit. I think it might be worth 6.
Maybe even 7.
Maybe even 7 silver.
Oh boy.
But I can provide that much for you at least. I'm sorry that I can't guarantee more. Trying to get things accomplished with the Empress making rash decisions is trying. But I think she still means well for her people.
Right. Well, thanks for any help you could give us. We didn't. I don't think I expected too much when I sent you the message. Anyways, I really just wanted to make sure you knew what was happening, or we would be leaving the city right away.
No, I'm glad to know that we at least know one location where he operates out of. We can perhaps keep an eye on it, and if we manage to get a hold of him, capture him before you complete your contract, if we manage to get a hold of him, I will have word sent to you to let you know. You don't have to waste time, however. I wouldn't hold my breath over it. He's very clever. Hasn't caused, aside from the attempted assassination of the Empress, he hasn't been overly violent, but that might also have been because of the Temple of Ara. But either way, she kind of pushes the plate and she finishes her cup of coffee and sets it down. Is there anything else?
Does anyone else have anything to say?
If we mean to set out to travel, I was given the task of learning a spell of teleportation, although I do not know the sigils for Nark, if there is one at all. So mode of transport there.
Nark will have but one circle of teleportation. If you are traveling with the army, speak with Alisant. I'm sure that she can arrange it where you can obtain a copy of the circle of teleportation. They're very particular about them. The city is old as that. They want to ensure that there aren't armies being teleported in under their notice. There's only one, and it is very well watched over.
At least perhaps we can go somewhere else for the winter then, if necessary. If we want to.
But if that's all, I need to go and meet with the Empress to make sure that she is well for the day.
Like as she's getting ready to leave, I kind of go up and whisper something to her real quick. I'm gonna talk to you afterward, but it's about my boon that I'm gonna get.
Okay. She gives you a nod and says, "I'll see what I can do."
Take care of the Empress. She needs you more now than ever.
She may not know that, but you're not wrong. She puts on her cloak, walks out the door. So, what are you guys going to do?
I have to make a few purchases.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to buy something.
You sure you don't want to take the cart? We sure.
I mean, hey, that's up to you guys. I want to push that fucking thing.
The travel would be more comfortable.
Would the cart slow us down?
We have horses.
The cart, I mean, the carts can't gallop at a full pace, but the horses can still. I mean, they can, but it's harder to control. The horses can't move quite as fast, but are we going to be riding our horses into the ground anyways? It's a month and a half travel.
I'm not against bringing the cart along with us.
If you want to bring it, then bring it.
I'm honestly quite fascinated with all the random things
It will literally
that
just
we've
be an empty cart.
thrown into the back. It's not an empty cart now. There's a ton of weapons and random scraps of armor.
We have a bunch of food in it that's probably spoiled by now, and I think there's some alcohol maybe. I have it written down.
I thought you took everything that was on the cart and put it into my bag of holding.
The hairs on your neck stand up.
My ears are burning. It's like
Not
they're
quite sure what's going on.
They're actually just talking about alcohol. Yeah.
We have 2 barrels of ale. Do you want to give that up?
I thought we took everything that was on the cart and put it in my bag of holding.
I don't think it can all fit in your bag of holding.
This bag of holding holds everything.
You know there's a limit in bags of holding.
There's a limit on the bag of holding.
There's never a limit.
Well, don't push that. Don't push that limit when you're near me, please.
Ah, yeah, go ahead. Overstuff it. See what happens. So,
Everything just got dumped out though, so there's nothing in it now.
it all got put back.
Alright.
Or so he thinks.
Well, we never specifically said.
Why don't we go back to your cart and
point.
I'll dump the bag of holding and we'll take inventory. That's fun.
Okay, so you guys are gonna go do inventory.
On that level, good physical inventory.
On this exciting episode.
You guys mark that down.
You guys can do the inventory
We're gonna go count
on the bridge.
We're gonna go buy more
4 kegs of ale. I only got 2.
We gotta go back and recount that. That's an over-under. We gotta really manager approval.
Alan, you have your
Can we hire a village accountant to
You
balance
two are
our...
gonna go shopping.
I believe my purchases are pretty simple, honestly. It's stuff for.
I actually do want to go back to that item shop and probably put a down payment on that item that I was talking about the other day.
I just want to buy some herbs for divination down the road, so that I don't have to keep borrowing from Albert.
That's fascinating.
I don't even need to RP that.
I have to buy an insane amount of incense as well, so we should definitely.
Alright, fine, we're gonna go. I'll tag along with it.
You two are gonna go to the shop in search of incense.
Start smoking.
I need 4 ivory strips.
You guys will probably want to go to the
smoke shop.
the Sparkling Jewel. That is the shop that has random odds and ends, most of the time fulfilling your component needs. For brevity and just time's sake, if you want to spend a couple hours of the day, you can get your tattoo finished today. I'll say that you use your entire day's worth of lay on hands to kind of speed up the healing on your back.
Okay.
And that will prep you enough that you can finish your tattoo today.
Fantastic. Will I have time to go shopping as well with them or no?
You'll have time to do a little bit of shopping.
I just want to see,
While you're down
just kind of be around and see if there's.
Yes.
I don't need anything in particular. I just don't want to miss something.
I'll police you.
So
Part of inventory responsibilities.
you two go in, and you're going to what's the name of the place? Alaris' Clairvoyance to put a down payment on the horn.
Yeah.
Can you reach onto the shelf behind you and grab the DM's guide? Thank you, sir.
I think she said, I can't actually remember what she said. It was like 2,000 down now, and like she knocked some of the money off of the total price. Does that put the down payment on it?
I need to double check the rarity of the item.
Do you remember how much that wand of a War Mage was?
I can ask her when I get there.
I don't have enough, I'm just curious.
There's a loss.
So, just for brevity, she says it'll cost you about. I need to double check prices here just to make sure.
Unless Kaylee had it written down.
Probably does. It'll cost about. So you walk into the shop and she tells you, so I believe that it will cost you about, all in all, at the end of the day it'll be worth 4,500 gold pieces. So if you give 2,000 now as a down payment, I can knock off, say, an extra 500 and make it an even 2,000 down the road.
I think that sounds fine. Did she tell me what it actually does, or she just said it has something to do with thunder. That's fine. So I'll put the 2,000 down now, and hopefully I can make it back before the end of winter. But it might not be after winter when I get back.
That's fine, as long as you make the down payment. I'll hold on to it to you. I'll hold on to it for you for at least the time of 1 year. Past that, no guarantees.
Fair enough.
She takes your 2,000 gold.
I'm probably not going to change it in this spell, so I'll just keep it over.
Yeah, no, did you want to ask about the price of the wand as well?
Oh yeah. What's how much does that one cost?
Let me double check my notes. There.
Would you put a down payment on just now?
A magical horn that she's going to be crafting out of. Who she bought it off? Willie? She bought it off, or no, Albert? She bought it off Albert.
The horn?
Oh no, this is something she had.
No, she had, and then she was going to craft it, and Albert was asking for it as a potential reagent.
Okay, that's right.
The one was 6,000 gold pieces. And it was essentially a +2, or it requires attunements +2 to all attack spells.
It's pretty brutal.
Doesn't increase saving throws, but yes.
Damage and?
No, just +2 to attack. You guys are going to the jeweler to look for reagents.
Right.
What are you guys looking for?
Well, I need 250 gold worth of incense, as well as 4 ivory strips worth at least 50 gold each, and for future use, some chalk for a teleportation circle once I might find my way to learning that spell.
Chalk is very minimal cost.
The chalk was 50.
Oh. Does it require like special chalk?
Hold on a second. T. That's a T. I keep going to
Circle.
Yeah. Let's see. Rare chalks, and inks infused with precious gems worth 50 gold each.
I'm just imagining like a big piece of like playground, like drawn the concrete chalk with just a nice diamond on the middle of it.
You have to use it all off to get to the dime.
Well, how much?
50 gold. Chalks and inks.
Okay. We'll say brevity.
Sure.
Just buy it. You need.
I need incense and other religious thingamabobs that I can divination with.
You can buy up to 200 gold worth of incense, seeing as he was buying incense as well.
Alright, I'll just do that. Just take this off the
Cool thingamabobs.
Oh,
Cody, would I need to also buy things for this spell?
Yes, and just so that you're aware, with this spell, it consumes the components.
Yeah. So once you use it, it's gone.
It's gone.
all I need is this incense, right? Like, if I have $200 gold worth, I can basically cast divination multiple times out of this stockpile.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then you just need to deduct
Right.
the amount that you have from it each time you cast divination.
Then can I purchase? I guess I would need holy water or powdered silver, as well as iron worth at least 100 gold.
So for two different spells.
It's just for one spell. The magic circle. It requires both.
Is that your 3D printer that's making that noise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been wondering what the hell that was.
Yeah, I finally got the software again, so I can start playing again.
I was thinking maybe it was like
Is
the
that
music.
Is that my dice tray?
No!
Buy the one.
No, I
I asked you if you wanted white, and you said, eh.
I don't want white.
Well, then buy a different color.
I thought I would.
Okay, you haven't bought it yet.
I didn't know I had to buy it.
Yeah, I'm not buying it for you.
Well, I mean, I'll pay you back. Streaming bickering.
Okay, we'll say that you can go to the temple district, and you can buy 300 gold, so you can buy 3 castings worth.
Okay. How many days travel? It's like 300 gold.
Mm-hmm.
Step outside the city and be scored by Arby's.
Nice.
Then you spend some time going to get your tattoo finished.
Okay.
Come back out, and it's... I don't remember, what were you getting your tattoo of? It was you killing Nilivir, is that correct?
Yeah, it was him with the smiting.
Wasn't
my axe embedded into his skull.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like a full back tattoo, like for one event. Like, are you gonna? You should have done like a little piece at a time to like for all of your exploits.
I imagine it.
Which are many.
I imagine it drawn a lot in the same style as that poster is. Only like it's like you drawn like yelling like that. Just
This is just like a center back piece. Like that was my whole thing. Was like I wanted to every person that I smite, I want to get tattoos of.
But you already have enough to cover your entire body at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to grow taller as a dwarf.
just the important ones.
Get like a tiny tattoo of your face.
More surface
Faces
area.
of my victims.
I'm just gonna start taking the skin off my victims and tattoo them and carry it around with me.
That's pretty dark.
There you go.
Yeah, that's borderline chaotic evil.
You have our hero. That's very good.
Yeah, that's
You
very
have the
chaotic
skin
evil.
like posted down. And
So,
yes.
At this time, with you finishing your tattoo, it's probably... You guys are up pretty early. So we'll say it's midday, 1, 2 o'clock.
I found it very important. I'd forgotten. Did we... I was a little distracted while he was threatening my father's life. I didn't quite listen to all of the details of his proposition towards us. I was more thinking about a way to kill him and everybody in the room. Were we leaving right away? I know we have a timetable against winter.
We have. I think he gave us 2 months, and it takes about a month and a half to get to Nark, so we have to get leaving. If we get going, we're not going to make this timetable. if there's any sort of hang up on the road, if something happens, and we rush off on some adventure, we don't want to run out of time.
Wait, he gave us 2 months,
To do this.
and it takes a month and a half to get there.
Yeah.
You said the same thing when you said it.
You have until
I don't remember this.
you have until the first snowfall to get the message back to his contact in Nark.
At a place called the Hanged Kerchief.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that.
You have until that. You have until then to get the message to his contact. At which point, his contact will sign and date a message back to him, saying that it was that your contract was completed before
The first
winter hit.
Okay.
If not, there will be consequences.
Are we, Sindal, are you planning on teleporting us back? Or do we not know that?
I have not learned that spell yet. That spell will take me roughly 10 hours to copy into my spellbook, master for
Well,
myself. I plan to do that during travel.
So, you guys do anything else here? Are you guys getting your horses and going?
So I have purchased everything I need. I just need to stop by and I need to go to the reliquary to speak with the master one more time.
You also haven't talked to your father at all yet.
I have not. I've been concerned about going to his house. That's why I've been thinking about that. I think it's a safe bet I can go visit him.
The table is tapping.
I might be tapping.
No, the table keeps like wobbling, and I'm just.
Yeah, I might be tapping my
It's
foot.
your 3D printer's making, just vibrating the whole room.
That's not what's happening.
Yes, I do need to visit him first.
Okay. So, you go into the Arcane Gathering, to where your father's house is. We'll say that you did this earlier in the morning. You walk in, and as he's having his morning tea. Oh, good morning, Sandal.
Greetings,
I'm
Father.
glad to see you. Here, please have a seat. And he turns and snaps his finger to one of the there's a human male who's kind of let you into the house. You know him as his father. Yeah. Please, another cup of tea. Very quietly sets a cup of tea in front of you. Steps out of the room. Taking a sip and just kind of closing the book that was in front of him. I'm quite sorry for how everything went with the Empress yesterday. It was hard to sit and watch as you were berated in front of her.
Unsavory.
Yes, she has been in quite a mood recently, but what brings you here today is this a pleasure? We
Well,
haven't talked much recently.
we haven't had much time, being that the city was under siege, and
Well, yes,
we have duties on the council, and I have my duties as essentially a soldier, I suppose. The group I've joined, Nocturnal, we will be an intrepid group of adventurers, as we are. We have business, I would say, near Nark. We'll be leaving shortly.
Nark. No, by the time you travel there, you'll be there for the winter.
I hoped to not be. I would prefer to stay in Kelisaeri. I still have to meet with my new master in the reliquary.
You see him look of surprise as he just kind of sets down his glass. A master of the reliquary? How did you manage to acquire one of those?
Indeed. For our successfully saving the Empress, she bestowed upon us a boon, and I asked for a master.
Ah, yes. May I ask who your master is? I know several of the Grand Maesters there.
His name is Silvar. Silvar Pressler.
Silva. I didn't take another sip of his tea. That is interesting. He's interesting. But I'm glad to hear that you've managed to procure yourself a master. That is no small feat, even with being as part of the Empress's council. I was not able to ensure you in position with the reliquary. But yes,
His methods, while seeming odd, I believe will. A wizard does not become a master of the reliquary of any small feat. I will trust him and I will learn as I can.
Well, just be smart about it as you go. His obsession with the old gods is... Well, we'll just say that there are people that think that it is foolhardy to spend any time at all practicing that. The old gods failed us long ago. It's powerless these days. But if you do manage to return before the winter, you're more than welcome to stay here. It's quiet around the house ever since we left. See him just take a moment and take another sip of his tea. You see a more serious look come across his face. Sindal, you know you can trust me, right?
More than anybody else, Father, yes.
What really happened with that girl that you and your companions were accused of kidnapping?
Well, I believe most of the story was spoken before being silenced.
Yes, it was mostly spoken. However, you claimed that there was some purpose that she was serving you and your friends. And yet, she's now missing. She was not returned. There was some item that you and your friends gave her father that managed to quell the emotions of a man who'd lost everything. There's more to this story than you and your friends are telling.
I find it interesting that you have just spoken about the old gods, and now I have to reiterate more further on them. Dragons have been gone for quite some time, and I assume that you know a lot of the old lore about them.
Yes, I know the story of the host. I know their doctrine. The dragons have been gone for over a millennia now.
Well, I believe that Junlaw became not a dragon, but a creature very closely related to one. Made of, in fact, pure starlight.
Moment of silence.
Wow.
You see a smile sort of creep across his face.
Well,
Sindal, you were never one for jokes. This is not a good time for one. Seriously, what happened?
You asked me to tell you what happened, and I have. I saw it with my own eyes, and she departed. A magnificent creature with something that I've never seen before. And in fact, I've been places that I never would have imagined existed in that travel, in that very adventure of her becoming a drake, as she called it.
May I see your hand for a moment?
Certainly.
And he takes your hand and he mutters, and you see a flash of arcane energy. His eyes open up again. Do you still believe in this nonsense? As you see that he's cast remove curse on you.
Certainly I do. Maybe someday I will be able to procure proof if I ever see her again.
If you didn't want to tell the truth, then it's fine. Charges were dropped. I guess the story will end there then. Do be safe with Mr. Master. His practices are unsavory. But if you and your friends are to travel to Nark, if you want to get there before winter, you'll want to leave in the next few days to give yourself ample time should your journey be slowed on the road.
Indeed. Well, I suppose I will be making my leave. I believe we plan to leave today. If not, I will stop by and be sure to let you know when we are leaving. And do stay safe, Father.
I will. I'll do my best. It's not. I only travel between here and the Elder's Conflux. There's not a lot going on between here and there, so. If I don't see you, best of luck on your travels, and I hope you return before winter.
You as well, please watch over the Empress. I believe this lyrium that's coursing through her blood is causing more issues than the Council itself and others are allowing to truly understand.
He just kind of nods his head. You get the feeling, just kind of like looking at the look on his face, that thought that's not the first time he's heard or felt that thought. He just kind of gives like a weak smile. Best of luck, son. Okay. And then you wanted to go and meet with your master?
Yeah, the main thing I wanted to get, I just needed to make sure I find a way to procure the actual circle, if there is a circle, for Kelisaeri. If I end up in Nark, I wanted to get back to Kelisaeri. Do I have to?
That would have been included with what he gave you.
Okay.
It's a copy of the circle that, upon copying it, it destroys it. Like, because you have to actually like physically trace using what's given to you, and that destroys the actual template in the process.
Okay.
And it's not to the reliquary itself; it's to the Elder's Complex.
Okay, and that includes the spell. So I would have the spell and the
You
circle
have the
to
spell,
Kelisaeri, which is my home circle.
and that is your home circle.
Okay, then I don't need to see it. That's what I was going to do.
Yep. Okay. So, back to the present. 1 o'clock. Anything else you guys want to do in the city?
I mean, we still have like 4 more episodes of shopping we have to do, right?
I believe we have shopped up the entire city of Kelisaeri. Have you finished inventory on our cart?
Oh, sorry, I got distracted. How's it going, Fenrir?
Once Zarn left, I abandoned it. No. We can go over that on break.
Yeah. Not on stream, please.
Yeah.
But you're breaking the immersion.
Shut up. So,
We'll just
you guys have
enjoy
your
that.
cart.
Yeah,
I don't enjoy it. You guys have your carts. You guys, while doing your inventory on your cart, horses are brought for you and your companions. For the 5 of you. Not being factored in for Korak.
No horse for Korak, you said?
No, the Empress has no idea you guys are traveling with her.
Oh, one of us is going to
Or not the
have
Empress,
to
but,
drive the cart most of the
Yes,
time,
yeah.
so 5 horses seems about right.
Oh, thank God we brought that cart. Somebody wouldn't have a seat.
We would have gotten another.
Somebody would have had to fucking walk.
We would have had to get a very large
I
horse.
don't appreciate how condescending you're being.
I like having a cart.
Makes a lot of noise.
The last guy that had a bad recording took a lot of items that we gave him and left.
I would never ever do that.
I've also never had access. I might soon be able to teleport us from city to city. By my own hands.
Welcome, we'll leave the cart in Nark.
Well, which is part of the reason I'd like to bring the cart.
Okay.
Episode 10, the cart.
So, you guys gather up your things, unless there's something else.
I was good. Don't worry about it. I'll be good.
Okay. Gathering up your things, gathering up the cart.
Yeah.
You guys head through the city, out the northern gate to into Noldath.
Hey.
You find Korak. Currently finishing up a small meal with Callie and two other half-orcs who are currently working on fastening up and shoring up some holes that are in one of the lodges that have been that they've been able to rebuild. And he sees all of you riding up, and Callie just kind of turns to Korak. Looks like you and your friends are heading off somewhere.
Oh, indeed, Callie. We have much to do. Much to be done.
Well, I'll do my best to hold things down here.
I knew you would.
Yeah.
Give him the Leonidas shape.
Yeah, the Beastmaster handshake, and I hope you're able to rise above the shit that they put us in and do well for half-orcs from Kelisaeri.
Oh, I hope the same for you, Callie. We'll be back, and hopefully things will have improved.
Hopefully we'll be here.
You know how this city is, though.
As all of you come up, he kind of gives you guys all a nod. And he turns to the two half-orcs that are with him and kind of gives them a head nod, and they go off to start working again.
While he's there, I toss him a little sack, and I say, for the, just to aid in the reconstruction effort, let's give him 100 gold pieces.
How much?
100 gold pieces.
I don't know that I'll be able to repay you properly for this, but
Don't worry about it. I feel for the lot of you stuck out here when a lot of them are sitting there in warmth.
kind of nods his head and kind of tucks it into his pocket. Turns with his companions and goes. So, all of you mount up on your horses, gather up your things, start riding north. You guys ride for the rest of that day. They camp, and over the course of the next 2 days, you guys are able to... over the course of the next 2 days, you guys are able to catch the trailing end of the army and large caravan that is migrating northwest towards Nark. You see some of the soldiers and there's a good number of people that it's not just soldiers that are marching through this. There are several carts of merchants. There are there's a large population of half-orcs that's traveling with the caravan as well. That, while not being like racially segregated like it was in Kelisaeri, there's still a level of uneasiness between the half-orcs and the soldiers, because, I mean, there was just a war. A lot of soldiers lost friends, friends and family in the process, but you are able to catch up to the tail end of the army. Caravan continues to go north. There, after several more days, you march past. What was the name of the little village?
The one in the mountain?
No, I know that one. The hunting village.
Oh, I know where that page is, though.
The one Callion is from. Oh man, I'm the worst DM ever. Just breaking all the immersion right now.
No, seriously.
Where's the story at? No, I don't have this in my notes.
South Thronfell.
Thronfell. Private Thronfell, or
The remnants.
the ruined husk and several remaining burnt buildings that are there.
Did find him
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we did. We spoke with him. Forgot he was at a bar.
Yeah. There is nothing left of Thronfell. There's just several just stone foundations that are left. It looks as if all of the wood that was made for buildings was taken and salvaged in some way. Used either for firewood or whatever else it might have been used for by the orcs. More time passes, traveling with the army. You eventually... Oh, no, didn't want to turn that off. I need to pull this up here real quick. I need to get my map straightened out on where you guys are. Gmail. I do know that as you guys are continuing to go, you eventually arrive at the. You can see in the distance the remnants of what's left of Kesk, the barony where the Thunderhearts ruled. As you are coming up on it, you can see that there are some of the town still remains. There's still some of the stone buildings are there. You can see the main keep where up on the hill where the Thunderhearts resided. The keep still stands. There is, you can see there's a large number of people that are working actively to rebuild homes, to rebuild walls of the city. And you can see the banner for the Thunderhearts thrown over the edges of watchtowers that have been quickly stood up. There are some of the soldiers that have stopped here in Kesk, but for the overwhelming majority is continuing to march north.
Unless you want to stop and say hi to the Baron.
I don't know if he'd appreciate seeing us.
I don't think so as well. I think we should continue.
Yeah, let's keep stepping.
Makes me wonder how the rest of the city is fared, though. People of Dragon Roost managed to avoid the chaos.
I don't believe we'll be passing through with this caravan.
I was gonna say I'm gonna send a message, ascending, and ask, what's the gnome's name? I can't remember her name. Oh. Where is it?
The girl?
The Tinker.
Am I allowed to say it?
Venby?
Yeah.
Venby. Yes, Venby.
Venby and Volvo.
I'm gonna send a sending to Venby and ask her. I just say, Venby, did you escape the orcs? Are you okay?
You received a sending back. Yeah, no, orcs are, no, they weren't too bad. We're fine.
Okay.
It's very simple.
That's all I wanted to know.
They weren't too bad for Ben.
As you continue going north, I need everybody to roll survival checks.
You too?
Yay, same thing.
Okay.
13.
13,
12.
6.
10.
It's you were supposed to be.
So as you guys are going,
We both rolled 3.
you guys go, whatever the amount of time is. I've totally botched time travel in terms of
I didn't know
distance and
like
time.
an hour,
Shut up.
miles, and how much shit.
Yeah.
No, just shut up.
We're actually going really fast.
Fair number of days later, Zarn, Fenrir, and Sindal, where you guys are traveling along, you guys see up ahead of you on the horizon, as you guys are going, the Howling Peaks, the mountain range that Dragon Roost is built off of. And the main road that you guys are traveling on, the King's Road, is trampled and mostly ruined by the marching orcs. It looks as if that they just hit the road from the pass and just came straight south along the road. And it is mostly just trampled into the dirt, as well as all the path around the main road. As you guys are traveling along, the three of you recognize roughly where the path that would lead to Dragon Roost is, but it's not there. You guys remember seeing that they were going to take the time to hide and properly remove the path. If you guys want, you guys could make a stop in Dragon Roost, but the caravan and army they are in no plan. They seem to dead set on their travel and going.
Do we have any reason to stop? I mean, other than stopping by and seeing them be, we don't really have anything.
I should think we have reason not to. We don't have much time.
Right. Well, we know that they're okay, so perhaps we just keep moving.
Vobo might have something of use for us, maybe? Just devil's advocate here.
It would take about a day of your travel out of the way to go up and then catch back up with the arm. Or it would add about a day's worth of travel. But
Lewis and Dalla, what do you think?
Well, I don't know much about Dragon Roost.
I think
Are you not with us?
going.
I don't think I was there with you guys during Dragon Roost.
you were there.
Yeah, you were.
Out of character, I think.
That's where you got lyrium
Oh,
from.
Lyrium, that's right. I'm looking for it in my notes.
There's a carrying dagger in this town.
Okay.
I think we need to
I have
go.
my
That's
stuff
what I
in
said
my
a little
notes.
while ago.
To continue?
Yes.
Or you want to...
Sindal, your dad's life is in danger.
Well, yes, absolutely. I don't think that we have any time to go up to Dragon Roost. And especially the pathway up. If the Hoppies have returned.
Oh, that would be horrible. Let's keep moving.
Yeah.
We don't need to deal with that again.
That sucked.
Oh, there. Okay, that's...
And we still have this fucking cart, too. That was a bitch.
Although the one thing that I did find, I would like to return to Dragon Roost someday, is that I'm not sure that all of you remember the legend that pertained to Dragon Roost.
Oh, that it was once the lair of a dragon?
Yes, and in fact,
Yeah.
3 dragons and lots of... Too much lore for me to remember exactly, but substantial enough that...
Well, this is our chance. We're here, but...
I mean, I don't think we have time to stop this study.
Let's keep going.
We do not have time
We
to
have
stop.
a pressing matter
Yeah, we always have pressing
to
matters.
address. this one's a little bit more pressing than others.
I wasn't trying to suggest we go. I was just letting you know.
Well, and he could potentially just recant it. The story of it went that there were once 3 dragons who roosted here. There was I believe there was a silver, gold, and bronze. One of them turned to follow the dragons when they betrayed the other old gods. When Bahamut betrayed the others, he followed in the flight that went with them. There was one who sided with the dragons that remained against them, but they were both ultimately killed in the process. And the silver dragon remained as a caregiver and a life giver here in Dragon Roost. And when the hunters from the Silver Flame came to kill this dragon, she did not put up a fight, and her blood enriched the soil, which is why it's legend why the one cave is continually able to grow an abundant amount of food for people in Dragon Roost.
It's also where we left the people from
Starlasker,
yes. That's where they stayed. But they have a lot of money too, so hopefully they've been able to maybe bring a little bit of commerce to the place.
So, following the army, I was not able to find my map, but I don't think it matters.
One night while we're traveling, whenever I go to meditate, whenever I'm meditating, I want to only speak in the language of the book, like the deep pages in the book.
Okay.
And I want to try and ask whose voice is speaking, how they're writing in the book, and just general.
Are you around anyone when you're speaking this?
I'm assuming that we set up camp and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I would just kind of wander off a little bit ways and just sort of do my own thing.
Okay, and you're just speaking this out into the air?
I would like to think it more so.
Okay. And so this is your first attempt, really. Like you've read it before.
Sure. Yeah.
You've never really taken the time, because any time that you're speaking it, you be speaking in Abyssal.
Yeah, I'm like sort of like whispering it, like kind of to myself, but like real quietly, just sort of.
And taking the time to kind of really think about the speaking in the dialect that is in this other language.
Mm-hmm.
Take a moment. And as soon as you start to speak it, you feel this icy cold, as if all the air around you, all the warmth is sucked away from you. And it's as if you were in the dead cold of winter, just standing out in the snow as you're beginning to speak and think. A few thoughts go by, a minute goes by.
Was I able to speak very well at all, do I feel? Or do I not really know it that well?
You're sounding it out and just speaking it as best as you think it's supposed to sound, but you don't have any frame of reference.
Right. I'm going to...
I'm just trying to think of like a
example
or something like
what
that.
What I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to try and read the best Abyssal that I can and sort of try and cross-reference and try and...
So are you Oh, are you opening up like the book and doing this now?
Yes, now I am, yeah.
Okay. So as you open up the book, on the front page it just says, "You know who I am."
Looking at the book, then I speak out. Have we met?
We have not properly met. It's essentially the text that was there before, that was in the abyssal. It's kind of faded and almost kind of like lying underneath, and it's like almost like a gray. And the text that it's appearing, it's in the other language, and it's appearing in a very thick, deep black. Appears over top of it. The text underneath it is not impeding your ability to read it in any way.
Well, I guess now's as good a time as any. I'm going to sit with the book, and I'm going to prepare and cast Legend Lore on the book.
Legend. I don't know what the spell is.
I don't wizard with your.
I don't know that I've ever heard of this spell.
Legend lore is like kind of cool, but I was like, I can only pick one spell, and it's not exactly that.
It's spell. Yeah, it's very much.
Yeah, it's a spell.
Dude, you know the NFL stuff.
Describe a person, place, or object.
But he's suspension after.
Oh, did they? Is that what
Yes,
people believe it. It's a book that I've always had. I also have my spell book, my handless book.
Okay, and what are you reading from it this time?
That's how it works. Like they said, like if you're playing the game, then he has to do suspension. I don't know.
The text is sort of like shifting as I'm reading it.
It's like everybody that didn't
Actually shifting words that I'm able to read, decipher from it. In this scenario, I'm casting a spell to try and understand things.
Somebody that has
Other things of that nature. Let me make sure I
was late to both my drafts. I'm going to get some third round, but
he might have been gone earlier though.
1 second. Staff better show big.
what are they playing?
I forgot.
I think Scott has. No, Griner has the
I think the Lions are playing Cardinals.
Ooh, that's not good news for you.
And I forget who the Eagles are playing, so I could always switch them.
I feel like that team's really good, but Scott got the best draft according to the league.
I just went all running backs the whole way down. My first one.
Both leagues started me out with a different receiver.
So-
I'm like, oh, okay.
You finish casting the spell.
Detroit plays Arizona.
You see
plays Washington.
the book,
Carson Wentz here instead.
and looking at it, you can see that the text for the abyssal is what you had written before fades away, and the abyssal appears, and it shifts. And as you see that it shifts into the language that there was before. And you gather from the process of casting this spell. This tome holds. You might want to write this down. This tome holds the secrets of one who keeps them. His name forgotten to all but a few. Yungara fears those who would seek to undo. The work of this tome his greatest work. I'm trying to think of how to. No. Okay. His greatest work In your hands sits the book of Vile Darkness.
Is anybody else able to hear this, or is it just...
It's just them.
Just me.
Taking a moment to look at the book now, you can see that the writings that were there before was like a skilled wizard's spell book, going up into higher level spells, into different studies of necromancy. Flipping through it now, you see much more complicated. Very, very hard to understand. Flipping through it, just kind of like just skimming over the pages, you see diagrams of men being transformed into lycanthropes. Flipping to one, there's another, or a side diagram of a human's jaw versus one with very elongated fangs. Flipping through some more of the pages, you see that there is... Roll me an investigation check.
22.
22. Flipping through, in the language, you find a passage that speaks of the curse of death and the gift of unending life. Flipping through it, it speaks of the ritual's very, very complicated, very hard to kind of really understand and fully begin to comprehend. But it speaks of removing your own soul, trapping it away from your body. Seems as if this contains some information on how to become a lich. And as you flip further towards the back, there's more text on the last page. It's written in that same type of handwriting that you saw before. It says, "This is my gift to you. Your master would stop you from reaching your potential. Do with this what you will." The text fades. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah. Saving throw?
Yep.
16.
Are you near me?
No. What'd you roll? Sorry?
16.
Okay.
You're dead.
But your soul lives on.
Oh god.
In another hole.
You take 28 points of damage.
28.
Yep.
Cool.
So the spell, that's the ending of the spell and my...
In casting the spell and taking the time to read through it.
Yes. I close the book.
And you can see now, as you close the book, as the spell starts to fade, you can see that the cover was... It's not the very plain looking tome that you can see before. It is black and gold and silver. Heavy metal bindings. And a skull sitting on the front of it. With one piercing blue eye. And there's a heavy, heavy lock that hangs open. And as the spell fades, you see that it returns back to the plain-looking tone that you saw before.
As the legend lore fades.
As the legend lore fades.
I'm just gonna set that down beside me and just sit quietly out in the woods for a little bit.
Okay.
Lost in my thoughts.
As you bleed out of your eyes.
So I take the time to clean up my blood out of my ears, blood out of my nose.
Take time, looks to your eyes, and just all the blood vessels are popped.
I'm taking the time to take a
Eye drops.
I'm going to take the time to take a short rest and heal myself.
But you take a rest
Yes.
for the night eventually.
And return cleaned up.
As you all come back to consciousness, to be ready to continue on the road. We're going to go ahead and take a break real quick. I need to use the bathroom. So we'll be back in a few minutes. I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Feel free, if you're watching it, to say something in the chat if you like it, if you don't like it. Yeah. We'll see you guys in a bit. We're back.
Better to just
Go under. I need Korak's arm around a little bit.
Now everyone knows the actual layout of the room.
Now everyone's gonna know where I live. You know, come and rob me of all my
I'm
things.
sure that they already know about the sunlight trajectory affects cars and possible sirens. That
I always post
Sound of the 3D printer running.
I always post my GPS coordinates whenever I
See the
post
color of the
Facebook.
stone. Be enough for a clever man.
So,
We're back.
we're back. I didn't mute that, right? Yes, we are unmuted. Okay, so. Whew. Hey guys, wait. The next morning. Well, almost.
different.
You have to tell me what you want to do.
okay. So I just wanted to try that out. So I assume we're still doing watches.
Yeah.
I mean, we're traveling with fucking army.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well,
Someone's keeping
one
watch.
of the nights when Korak goes to sleep, I'm gonna cast Dream so that I can become a messenger in his dreams.
Oh shit.
And basically, what I want to do is, I want to do like a dream where I'm like sitting up on like a table with your alchemy jug, drinking out of it, telling you, "Come on, Korak, come drink with me." But it's like one of those dreams where no matter how hard you try, you can't get up to the top of the table. It's just that for like.
Sadist, Lily.
Korak, I need you to make a list of saving throws.
Wisdom is not great. It's an 11.
My DC is 15.
Korak, over the course of this dream, you wake up and there's quiet except you hear the sounds of sloshing. And you see, sitting on a high stool, high above you, you can see Lily looking down at you with your alchemy jug. And to your horror, you don't have your alchemy jug. You see her taking a sip. Come on up. And to your worst nightmares, you're not able to get to it. No matter how hard you climb, no matter what you do, you pull out your hammer, you're climbing, your ropes, anything, you just try and try for what seems like hours.
8 hours.
Until you wake up in a cold sweat.
I'm so good at RP, I'm actually sweating.
And you're dead.
This is one of his worst nightmares. You take...
Lay it on me, brother.
17 points of psychic damage.
Psychic damage, okay, never mind. 17, you say?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, would you say I was mad enough in my sleep that I went into a rage? But it being psychic damage, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Sleep terror.
They call me the Night Mother for a reason.
You awake. Cold sweat running down your brow into your beard. And you look around. The sun is slowly rising.
I'm not even gonna look to see if I have my alchemy jug. I'm going to Lily and grabbing her and like picking her up and looking for her.
Lily, after casting your spell, you went to sleep. Because the spell only takes a minute to cast, and then you can just go to sleep. And you violently wake up.
I was actually wondering that. Because it says you're in a trance, but I can technically go to sleep.
Oh, I did not read that part of the spell.
It says that's, yeah. Second end of the first paragraph. Enters a trance state while in a trance.
Oh, then no, you are not sleeping during that state.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Like, I might actually risk some exhaustion to do this, but it's
Correct.
not really worth
You
it.
come out of your sleep, cold sweat, and you see Lily. Her eyes kind of flutter open. She very quickly rolls over and acts like she's trying to get to sleep. But you see her in the process of very quickly trying to roll over and act like she was asleep.
So I'm gonna grab her and I'm gonna say, "How much do you have, little girl?"
What are you talking about?
The wine, you know what I'm talking about. Where is it?
I didn't drink any of your wine.
What? Don't toy with me, I know these things. Where is it?
You were asleep.
Yeah! You were drinking my wine! I have the sixth sense like this.
Korak, I believe that's called a nightmare.
Where is it?
I don't know. Where do you usually keep it at?
Keep what?
Shut.
I see what's going on here.
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna check for it now.
You go and look where he set it the night before, and it's there. You tip it, and you hear the sloshing, but you hear the sloshing sound, but it is empty.
I'm gonna say wine into it, and then chug it.
Chug.
This is how we're starting.
It's like 2 gallons. It's like 2 gallons of wine.
Exactly. It's 1 gallon.
So you chug the whole. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
23.
23. You. Winding is gonna roll out the edge of your mouth and down into your beard, but. Jug is empty in front of you.
Give a glance over to Lily and go lie back down. How long? Is everyone getting up?
The sun is rising at this point.
But is everyone getting up?
The cape is stirring.
Okay. So I won't go back to sleep.
What the hell did I just see?
I'll go sit down.
The rest of you kind of stirring with this hearing these two yelling at each other.
I'll go sit down cross-legged where I was sleeping and hold my alchemy jar.
I just
Stare
want
at Lily.
to keep sleeping. As Sleepy Feather.
You didn't just throw up.
Getting up late.
This is why we need the car. We just throw in the car to keep going.
Don't disturb a god in his sleep.
It's a fantastic idea that we've put Fenrir to sleep in the back of the cart, so as soon as we start going, we don't even have to stir him. We can just leave him asleep.
He can sleep hours
in the back of the cart.
We don't need a cart. Renee can carry it.
He can sleep 16, 17 hours a day.
Eventually, as the army is starting to stir and move, the rest of you are having this discussion with Fenrir fast asleep, and any time any of you go to wake him up, Lune growls, saying over him protectively. Until eventually the army is moving, and Lune kind of like nips at you, and Fenrir, you need to wake up. You can sleep, but you have to at least get in the saddle.
Oh shit.
You travel with very strange companions.
Was she just like carrying him in her mouth?
No, she nipped at him to wake him up.
No, but I mean before that.
No, the army was getting up to move. You and your camp, like the rest of you were all gathered up, and Fenrir is still sprawled out in his sleeping
I
bag.
thought she might have just been holding him by like the scruff.
No.
Really?
But eventually Fenrir gathers up his thing, puts it very hastily into his pack. Leans over the front of Lune and just goes back to sleep
Slugs into the saddle.
for another couple more hours. Traveling along, you guys pass the edges of the Howling Peaks, slowly coming around to the north side of the road where it follows along the road. And where you guys are at this point, this is where you could split off and head in the direction of Starlasker. Like pretty much straight northeast of here is where.
So we're pretty much doing a lot of backtracking before we hit the road to Nark.
You are at the point where you will be going further west than you ever traveled.
Okay.
At least this far south. This is the point where you're not far off from where you split, or where you went from the pass, from the Marble Pass, to hit the road to then go south to Kelisaeri. You guys have pretty much gone a little bit further north than that. The road kind of bends to the west. And once you get fully past the furthest reaching eastern part of the mountains, the road will be a straight shot west of here to Nark. And you can see that there are several small villages that are mostly ruined. But as you guys are kind of traveling, you hit the part where the bend in the road curves. At one point, And during the travel, there was a moment where he came to you, and he spoke to you several times over the trip. But you see Kalnarin, Adros' father.
Oh.
He's traveling with the army as well. You can see that he's traveling. He wears an eye patch over his left eye from a wound that he sustained during the war, and he spoke to you guys somewhat, but he spoke of, and he tells you guys a little bit with Adros. I mean, you guys kind of knew the gist already that Adros was staying behind. That, according to Adros' estimations from his time spent with the Griffin Master, that the egg would hatch sometime in the winter, in the next several months, and then by the time winter ended and spring came, that the Griffin would be sizable enough that he could actually ride on the Griffin, and then Adros' plan from there is to go in search of his mother.
Find the Dark Frontier.
And they decided that it was their best decision that that he returned back to his home. That's help some of the people from Starlasker to try to help them rebuild in the time that they have left before winter, and he comes to speak with you because this is where the splitting point is in the road. Well, I want to thank all of you for helping Adros and for being with him. I always worried with him that he would never find any real form of happiness. He was never content to just stay in Starlasker, and which is why he went to the frontier. And I'm glad that all of you were there to be with him and able to help him grow into the man that he is now, and man that I'm proud that he's grown into. I want to thank all of you for that.
I honestly don't know if we had much part in it. When he came to us, he was just a man who enjoyed adventure and enjoyed helping people. And I think he left us that way, so...
I think all of you had more of an impact on him, and he looks particularly towards you. In the time that I spent in the city, he spoke of little other time. He spoke not very much of his time at the frontier, except time spent with Fenrir, but spoke mostly of all of their travels together. I hope that one day he manages to find his way back to you.
I think we all do.
Yeah. As to my closest friend. I miss him dearly.
Steve, I'm back!
If you're watching,
Would you
teleport now!
Come back!
The door opens up.
That would have been a really clutch DM move if you actually said that.
He's sitting out there on his own.
Yeah, he was waiting.
Right, there's probably a delay.
No, sadly, I did not coordinate that. But with that, he bids you all farewell. You see him kind of ride off with some of the, with a small group of soldiers, as well as one or two supply wagons, as he rides off in the direction of Starlasker. You and your companions continue to travel west for about the next month. There is very minimal resistance, and you kind of get the idea it's the fact that you're traveling with several thousand soldiers. There's not really any orcs or creatures that want to ambush a caravan that's this large.
No band of 12 orcs trying to take on an army.
What's the terrain like? I think it's
So as you're traveling west from here, you're near the base of the mountain, so there is lots of hilly terrain as you guys are going. As you eventually get past the reaches of the Howling Peaks. Let me pull up my map here just so that I am 100% correct on this. I know I have it on my phone. Camera. It's not in camera. God damn it.
Here you go.
No, I found it. It's in my downloads. I forgot about that. Okay. So, as you guys are going along, it is not mountainous. It's not, the hills aren't impassable, but it does make for slower travel for what would normally be a straight shot. And you guys can see in the distance to the east at one point, you see a rather large forest that just seems to be encased in a perpetual heavy fog and mist, even in the full daylight. And it's just as if there's a fog hanging over the forest. And you guys gather from knowing, just having different maps and talking to people, that this is the Faded Forest. Anyone that's proficient in history can make a history check.
Bounced off the folder, rolled it a 2. I got an 8.
18.
So you know some of the legends to it, that this is the Faded Forest is home to what was once the seed of an opposing empire to the Kingdom of Nark. The name of the kingdom is long lost, but it's not sure what eventually caused the downfall. If it was a war between Nark, if it was just some other means, but the forest is cursed and filled with a large colony of Yuanti, snake-like people.
What does that start with?
YUAN-TI.
Alright, let's charge into the forest. Start killing things.
Nothing will stop us in our cart.
Damn straight. You want to, you're weak to carts.
You
Doesn't act like carts aren't useful, jeez.
If Fitter's on top of Lunae and Lunae's on top of the cart, is that like triple advantage for being double mounted?
no, that's not a thing.
It's not a thing, but yes, somehow that is what's the case.
Eventually, as you get past the foothills surrounding the Howling Peaks, it starts to roll into a more flat, natural plains. You kind of start to eventually get into farmlands. You start to pass small villages, where passing in these villages, you see that the procession begins to grow slightly smaller in population of half-orcs, that they are dropping off in some of these villages in an attempt to start a new life here. Sometimes some of the soldiers will stop, that you get the idea that this is where their families are from. You see at one point, as you're going, that several hundred soldiers in a rather large procession break off into the north, and you see this happen 2 more times along the way, that you get the idea that these are some of the barons that are pledged as bannermen to the king, that they are going off back to their strongholds.
Were they all humans, mostly?
The overwhelming majority of people here are human. You start to see in the distance what looks like the far end, and you kind of know from geography a little bit that there is forest to the south, large, almost to the size of the Shimmerwood, except this is what's known as the King's Forest. This is just a large natural forest, no strange arcane enchantment resting over it.
It would be nice to take a nice trip to a non-enchanted forest and just go for a hike.
Giant spiders.
When we have time. Non-magical creatures.
Enchanted forest, regular forest, it's all the same to me.
It's quite different to me.
You see that the road continues on, and the forest kind of reaches up to meet with the road, and then there's another forest to the north of it that you see, and you gather just from talking to soldiers and whatever else that this is also known as the Bear's Woods. Continuing along the road, you eventually come to a large river that this is, or not overly large, but you have to cross a river. There's a large bridge that's built across it. This is one of the tendrils from the Dagger River. And one day, about a month and a half past when you've left Kelisaeri, real quick, roll me a performance check.
23.
Fenrir, roll me 3 performance checks with advantage.
I wanted to tell you
Cora,
that
are you having
I need
like
to attempt to overtime
nervousness now
Are you
about
actually talking to me? Like, is Lily?
No.
that language.
Okay. Terrified. Because I don't talk to
This
Lily.
one is a crit.
Okay.
Are you like nervous that your alchemy jug is gonna
Second is a
disappear?
21.
Okay.
I know most of this group to be
And
honest.
the third is
The ones that
an
aren't, I could
18.
smash.
Because of the tutelage of Zarn, over the course of this month and a half, you gain proficiency in the instrument that you were practicing and trying to learn.
Thank you, Zarn.
Hi.
Thank you.
Oh, we can have a little. Perhaps when I go to a tavern now, I have a little backup music behind me. It'll be nice.
It is a harmonica, and I love
starting
to
a
play
band.
this.
It's gonna be jam night now.
Jam session!
I was trying to learn the feeling to go to the tavern without someone bringing a guitar. Oh God.
Two song sets that are an hour and a half long.
Sometime during the journey, I want to talk to Korak, and just kind of walk up to him and say, Korak, I've noticed a lot of the half-orcs have been kind of splitting off and going other directions. And I don't think I've noticed, like, you really, I mean, I know you know them, but, like, you don't seem too close with any of them. Do you have any, like, close family or friends amongst them? Or?
No, not really. We're an interesting lot where even those that are close to us, where they, particularly of other races, they still hedge their bets against us. Whereas I myself have just always been more separated, more alone. I grew up on my own. I fought for myself, and that just kind of is how I am.
Oh, so you're kind of just a natural loner?
Yeah. Not always, but
Don't feel afraid to ever come to us if you have any problems or need anything.
Well, I
I
must
think
say,
at this point you're kind of a part of our little band here.
you lot are quite welcoming, but you haven't quite seen me at my finest yet, so
Oh,
we'll see if that remains.
well, I'm looking forward to it.
Hey man, don't beat yourself up.
Let me stealth check.
Sure.
Enemy all restrained and shit in Kelisaeri.
Getting pissed on and shit.
Anytime that you go off on your own and attempt to read and actually speak the language out loud, it hurts. To the point that the first time you do it, you take 4 points of psychic damage. Second time you do it, 8 points of psychic damage. Third time you do it, you take 9 points of psychic damage. Just to get the idea that it's a recurring thing.
Yeah, okay.
Just speaking the language out loud.
But do I feel as though I'm successfully speaking it?
The first time you tried it, didn't go so well. You didn't have that problem. Now you kind of, having actually seen what the actual context of the book was, it kind of changed your understanding of the language a little bit. And however you're speaking it now, seems to be doing something.
Cool. All right.
So, as you're continuing to travel along, you crest over. You start to see cresting over the horizon. One day earlier in the morning, the signs of the city out ahead of you, and you continue to travel through farmland. You see that there are people that are just kind of taking note of the procession as you're going. The farmers seem to be reaping and gathering what's left of their crops. As you start to come more fully into the city, several miles off, you can start to see the full scope of the city. And you start to get an understanding of why this city has stood across the ages. You see, stretching about 5 miles from north to south, a large column. Flat with the surrounding landscapes. The large chasm, about a half mile across, surrounding the whole column. On the column itself, you see a large city, walls standing almost 100 feet high, stretching and taking up almost the entire surrounding landscape, or almost the entire surface area of the column on the top. You can see, stretching in the 4 cardinal directions, 4 large stone bridges that connect the column to the surrounding landscapes. You see on the columns at this distance, from some of the hilltops as you guys kind of come to them, you can see on the sides of the column, it looks like at this distance almost ants moving up and down along the columns, or along the main column that the city is built on. It's not like a clean-cut column. It's like a large peak, almost that as if there's a large moat dug around the city that is, you can't see any type of bottom at this point, and it is it is a very wide trench that surrounds the whole area of the city. As you start to come closer, you can see that spires. You see a large keep that stands in the center of the city. You can see, not as you get closer, it's harder to see like the tops of the buildings because of how high the wall is. As you can see, probably every 150 feet, you can see a guard tower that is built up the whole side of the wall, and you can see that the walls are patrolled quite heavily. As you come to the large bridge on this side, which you hear from several of the soldiers. The soldiers that are around you, they're very excited to be home. It's been a long, quick, and arduous journey that has led to hardships. But coming home, the soldiers seem to be very excited. And you hear some of them talk about that this is the Alabaster Gate that you're coming towards. You see the bridge is probably about 80 feet across. It's a large stone bridge, and as you come to the edge of the chasm, as you start to walk out to it, you can see that the chasm probably reaches down about a mile and a half. And you can see down at the bottom, you can see some flows of water. You can see that as you're closer now, you can see that there is pulleys and elevator systems that work the whole way down the length of the that work down the whole length of the chasm, and you can see very distantly down at the bottom, in the shadow of the city, torchlights. And it looks like that there's almost like a city beneath the city. As you continue to walk across the bridge, you see that there is a large, made of almost, there's a large set of gates that stretch the full 80 feet across, made of some form of white wood. The gates hang open, and you can hear, as you're approaching, that there is the sounds of horns, and there is the sounds of cheering as the soldiers of Hothane return home. You find yourselves at the gates of Nark. Soldiers proceed in. You are not stopped in any way. You see very quickly merchants and civilians begin to walk off into the cities. The soldiers are greeted. They're stopped, and there are people talking all about. What would you and your companions like to do? You find yourselves in the most ancient city on the continent.
I'm sort of.
I think we go shopping after we handle.
Let's go shopping!
I feel like we should handle our business and then go shopping.
I'm inclined to agree. Let's
not do 2 shopping episodes.
I'd like to see if there's a parrying dagger or something.
Let's see. I was gonna, as we make our approach right into the city, I wanted to see if there were any anybody who looked magically inclined, I guess is the best way to describe somebody. You know, I don't know how to say that. That was maybe greeting anybody, or like
just sort of moons and stars on it.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Make a perception check.
I don't know. I mean, we're showing up to the city. I don't know. Perception 22.
22. Looking around, you can see that there are. Looking around, you see that there are not so much people in wizard robes like you would expect. It looks like that there are more people in holy garb. Around, you don't see any wizards, any practitioners of the arcane that particularly catch your. But you do see several people that they are dressed and armed like guards, but they wear. You see that there is the holy symbol of Dolora and Doldorn and Arrowe and Boldry, and you start to get the sense that this is the most prominent place of worship for the sovereign host. And you see very quickly many different holy symbols of the different members of the host.
Cool. Is there no presence of the old gods visible at all? Is there...
Make a perception check.
17.
17. Looking around amongst the soldiers and guards, and just kind of looking around for like any type of necklaces or anything that you see on like different civilians. Taking a brief glance, you don't see any sign of the old gods here. Nice. But you are also still just standing essentially at the gates.
Like walking into the... So what do we see like inside the city? Is it like normal sized like buildings and stuff? Or?
Yeah, I mean, you see from where you're currently standing, it is bustling. There are lots of people that are here at the gates. You can see from where you're standing that the road that you're on continues to stretch forward, reaching further into the city, and it is building after building after building. Paved stones. You can see that there is different like. It's not like Kelisaeri where the entire city was like almost entirely paved with spots of properly. Oh,
did I just bump that? Oh, I hit the wire. Yep.
Don't know.
God damn it. I put my feet forward and I hit the wire.
No. Are they in frame?
They're left a little bit.
Wait,
no, you're good. That's a little crooked.
Yeah, you're on your stand is on the other wire there. Pull it out and make it flat. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. Better?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you just see that it's not like that there is properly manicured grass that is taken care of like in Kelisaeri. I mean, it is much more normal looking in terms of what you would expect from times you guys have spent in human cities. To you, it's a little bit more mundane. But there's there's like the paved, not like fully paved, like properly interlocking stone. It's kind of cobblestone road with mud and whatnot, just kind of reaching forward. You see people walking around draped in heavy cloaks. With it being still cold, you're coming into the further reaches of fall at this point.
You said these holy symbols were of what?
Of different members of the sovereign host.
I'm just gonna pull aside like maybe one of the soldiers that we were traveling with that we would have like talked to a little bit or would recognize us as we're coming into the city, and just ask him, where might we find a tavern called the Handkerchief? Handkerchief.
That's really the first place you want to go to?
I know somebody that's in the area. Figured I could talk to them.
Alright, well you're going to want to go further into the town, towards the southern end, towards the slums. If you go towards if you get to the western wall and go south, you'll eventually find it.
Alright, thank you for the information.
Yeah. He kind of nods, and you see as he kind of turns and walks away, you see a moment later a young girl comes running up to him as he kind of bends down and picks her up in a hug, and you see a woman come walking towards him and looks as if it's his family's here to see him.
Right, so we have what's that? Hanged kerchief pretty soon. We should also, while we're in the city, find Trent Midos' daughter and give her the locket that he gave us so long ago.
Not a bad idea.
I believe those are our top priorities.
Are we looking for someone to help lead us north?
What's that?
Are we looking for a guide or some sort to lead us north, or are we just going on our own?
I think we were supposed to meet the contact.
Basilia.
What's her name?
Basilia.
Basilia.
Yeah, I did not think she was going to guide us. I thought she was just going to.
Well, we weren't really given the exact location of the mine.
Yeah, she might have more information on exactly what it is we can potentially expect to deal with.
Yes, and
Righto, then. Let's, has anyone any business other than... I know you said this locket or necklace, or... is that a pressing matter, or should that wait until we're finished?
I mean, I would like to get it dealt with soon, but I think the more pressing issue is our business with the mine. I'd like to get it over with, so perhaps...
this person is only a contact. They're not going to send us right away.
Yes. We have about...
Basilia?
Sorry?
Basilia,
the contact with the order.
With the order. Yeah, that's
Yes.
what I thought as well.
Yeah, she's only, or he or she.
I thought she was pretty much our, hey, we finished, and so she contacts them, and...
Well, she has to know that we're here, I think.
I don't know if that was understood right. The point was that, well, I'm going to actually, so that everyone, because all of you would have actually heard all of this, that you guys were supposed to go, she would give you the exact location of the mine, and then you would have to go, complete the contract, and then come back.
Right, so we'll go speak to her, find out all the information that we need to know. Perhaps we could find somebody that can tell us, point us to Tremidus' daughter. Ellis might be able to tell us.
What time is it?
At this point, it's maybe 3-4 o'clock.
So what do you say we find this handkerchief, speak with Basilia, and then perhaps find this other person of which you speak, and then rest for the night, depart in the morning.
I think that's a good plan.
Perfect idea, Korak.
Okay. So we'll leave in the morning.
Give Lily the eye.
I blush.
Not that eye. Stupid.
So, you start making your way westward into the city. As you guys continue, you see that the road that you're on starts to bend and circle south, and you understand why. Not too long afterwards, you see that the walls were 100 feet on the outside of the city. As you're coming closer towards the inside of the city, maybe about 3/4 of a mile along the way, you see that there is another 100-foot high section of walls. And you remember having heard from Trump Midas before that there are rings to this city. That the city goes 4 rings deep. And you can kind of see from Korak would probably be the one to kind of notice this. Just kind of looking at like the way that the buildings are laid out. Everything is kind of laid out into a almost perfect grid system going in, and the buildings that are on the furthest part where you guys came in, coming up to where the next side of the walls is, the buildings get progressively higher and higher, and that provides a tactical advantage to people that would attack the city, that if you manage to take rooftops for height advantage, even being on the outside of the city, the people that are further in have the advantage over you. As you follow the road around the ring, heading towards the western wall, you see a multitude of different shops, different types of garb. For many of you, this is your first time this far south and west into this region in particular. You see much more dark complexion amongst the people here than in Esteros or in Kelisaeri. Fenrir, this is more familiar to what being from Salbar, and this is the type of complexion that you see. It's much more kind of like darker, like Middle Eastern, like African type skin. You see in the patrols that are walking the streets that humans, for the most part. You see occasionally there will be a dwarf or a halfling or whatever else you may see. You see and for you, actually, this is the first time seeing this being from here, or being from Kelisaeri. The majority of you wouldn't have seen this either, but you, Zarn and Lily and Albert will have seen this before. You see a large, not man, but humanoid with metallic skin, made of different pieces of wood and iron, walking through the streets. You recognize these as Warforged. You see them in garb, in guard armor, and wearing the symbols of Hothane, of King Abrem, wearing the different holy symbols of the Sovereign Host. You see one walk by in patrol. And a few minutes later you see another. You see one just walking down the street in normal clothing almost. And it's weird. You've only ever seen one Warforged before. Axe from
Wow, that was a long time ago.
what was his name?
His name was Axe.
No, the dwarf he was traveling with.
Oh, Brambo.
Brambo, yes. From Brambo's companion, or his company of singers and bards. But you start to see not a lot. It's not like you're not seeing them by the dozens, but you see maybe like 5 or 6 in the time that you're spending walking to the western wall of the city. You follow the directions, follow the path that eventually leads towards the western gate, and you just start to follow a road that just kind of follows along the wall. 2 people making investigation checks. Whoever's going to be the ones that are looking for the for this thing in particular.
Not an eye for it.
Looking for the handkerchief.
I got a 14.
I would definitely, I guess. Sorry, investigation?
Yep.
12.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys got high enough. Managing to find it before it gets too much later. It probably takes you guys the better part of an hour and a half to walk around the city, getting to this part. Just kind of casually walking along. You guys would have also had to have found stables for your horses, but we won't worry about that.
Cards for car.
Yeah, of course, your card is.
The bag of holding.
I'm going to buy an enchanted card. It's super powerful one day. You guys will see. It'll fly.
And the top to protect it from the rain.
Fire resistant wood.
It's gonna be
Much like that wood across that gate.
I've just got a new quest in life to create the greatest card that the world has ever seen.
the wood that was
Finally, the quest to buy the skyship is replaced.
the white wood on the gate.
Who needs a skyship when you have a card? This is the arc we've been building.
The white wood that was used to make the gate, I assume, is some sort of. Does it have any relevance to the word alabaster in reference to the alabaster lyceum as well? The white wood that created.
To run him over with.
The card of life. I can just roll.
Give me a minute.
Okay.
So, as you guys are looking around, asking, so you ask a couple people, you guys kind of get lost at one point, but you eventually get straightened out and you can see down a very, very seedy street. You guys start walking along and it's maybe 5 or 6. I mean, it's starting to get a little bit darker now. What time does it get dark in the fall?
In fall?
I mean,
7.
6 or 7.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
Okay, so it's getting darker now.
Around here at least.
Yeah. But it's
Not that we're anywhere.
but you see that there is a large number of people that are already hammered. There's just debauchery, and this is a very run down area of the town. But you do see along the way on the right side of the street, hanging on a sign for it looks like a wall, like a wall mount to hang a jacket. You see that there's just a single kerchief hung on it. It's just the hung kerchief.
I get it.
And as you guys go to step into it, I'm gonna have to end there because I did not prep for this city.
Oh really?
I did not prep a lot for this city.
God, you're so fucking lazy.
Sorry.
When it comes to D&D, you just slack us and do something else.
We're supposed to spend more of the day.
I was like, I was like, we'll skip past some of the shopping. And I was like, there's an encounter. It didn't make sense for there to be an encounter because there's an army of 3,000 people. Maybe I'll stop there. Then I'll stop at enemies. All right, yeah, we went through this a little bit faster than I thought. So, sorry guys.
Well, fuck! There's nothing wrong with that.
Tavern crawl then.
So yeah,
real life tavern.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't want to improv the.
You want us to go shopping first then?
No,
Shopping.
They don't have food.
but no, that's
Let's go home and eat if we're not doing Fishers.
that's where we're gonna have to end tonight, guys. Thank you for anyone that tuned in and watched. We really appreciate it. If you liked it, give us a follow. If you don't, say something in the comments. Say that we suck. Talk about how I'm a really bad DM for not preparing this far ahead.
No time.
If you are a little bit confused as to what's going on, we have a YouTube channel, which I think is in the information below. If not, I'm going to update that and include that. Follow us on here and look us up later if you want to look back at our previous recordings.
Please tweet at Cody to start posting all of our things on YouTube because he sucks.
At Mr. Yodi. If you want to yell at me. We also do have a Twitter though. It's at Roll Perspective, as well as a Facebook with the same thing. Yeah, we hope you guys liked it. We'll be back next Wednesday at 6:20. Should we just start at 6:30? I always feel weird tweeting 6:20.
Yeah, I kind of like I'm going to a hockey game. That's like they're like, oh yeah, your games are gonna start at like 6:57.
6:30 is incredible. Actually,
Okay.
If we say 6:30, then we're all gonna start showing up at like 6:30.
Yeah, no.
You still show up at
Hard 6:20.
Hard 6:20.
Tell the internet.
6:20.
6:30.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Don't tell
6 o'clock.
Especially don't tell Rusty.
Hey, listen. Normally,
Tell Rusty
I try to show up
5:20.
as late as possible, and I'm still like normally the first or second one here. I didn't even know Kayla was here earlier. You're sitting on the couch, and I was like, Cody, you talking to yourself?
Yeah, no, I do talk to myself a lot. I just didn't talk to myself enough this week to prep the city. Sorry.
Do you even care about D&D?
I really don't. This game sucks. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday.
My dudes.
My dudes.